There is something that is happening in our society today that I've come to observe. You will see in our society that not everybody is lucky when it comes to this relationship and marriage of a thing. Yes, that is why you see a very good man, good looking, quiet, very nice gentleman getting married to a crazy lady, and you'll be wondering, how can this fine young man like this get married to this kind of crazy lady? It happens the other way around as well. You will see a good looking smart woman, wife material, getting married to one kind man like that, irresponsible and not even husband material at all. So you see that it happens. That is why people tend to say this life is not balanced. Life indeed is not balanced. So you see a lot of things happening in our society today. But in today's episode, I want to talk about that of the ladies. Why is it that good women get married to bad men? But the thing is that it's not that they really wanted to get married to those bad men. That is what I've come to observe. But it's just that they just found themselves in that situation. Not everybody is lucky in this thing called relationship and marriage of a thing. So, in today's episode, I want to enlighten you guys on 4 reasons why good women end up with bad men. But of course, before I begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also like and comment on my videos as well. Thank you so much for that. So, what are the reasons why good women settle for bad men? Number 1 reason is desperation. When a woman's mindset begins to change and she begins to feel that she's getting old, that she once she sees any man, that she will just settle for the man, that she will just keep praying for any man to come her way. Once the man is talking marriage, that she will settle for that person. She will not even mind. Once a woman begins to display desperation to get married, you're so desperate to get married as a woman that you don't even care anything about that man. You don't even care who that man is. Once the man is speaking marriage, you're interested. My dear, man no be man. There are good men and there are bad men. So you should not settle for anyhow man. You should not reduce your standard. You should not lose yourself all in the name of marriage, all in the name of you're getting old. Do not ever try that. That is why you see a lot of good women settling for bad men, because they feel that they're getting old and their time is going. So therefore, they have to settle for any man that comes their way. My sister, don't try it. Because if you try it and that man finally gets married to you, that marriage can move from so-called marriage to damage. And before you know, you begin to hear things like stories that touches the heart. My dear, once desperation enters a person, discernment exists from that person's life. It exits from that person's life. That is just it. So you should not allow desperation to lead you into marriage. Even if age is no longer on your side, you should still calm down and choose your partner. Because if you choose your partner out of desperation, you will most likely end up with the wrong man. So my dear, be careful. Avoid desperation. Desperation is the most common thing that makes good women to settle for bad men. The second reason is when a woman wants to marry a man all because of his looks. That is fantasy. When a woman's focus is on fantasy, she will most likely end up with the wrong man. Yes, because when a woman begins to have that mentality that relationship and marriage is like what she sees on social media, that is fantasy. She will most likely end up with the wrong man. Do not misplace your priority as a woman. Your priority in terms of relationship and marriage, do not misplace your priority in finding a partner. As a woman, you should not settle for a man all because of his looks. Like the only thing good about that man is just his looks, and that is the only reason why you're getting married to that man, because of his looks. That is fantasy. You want to get married to a man that is so handsome and cute so that your couple's picture will be peppering people online. That is fantasy. If as a woman you have failed to look beyond a man's look, his physical appearance, when you're preparing to get married to a man, my dear, that is fantasy. Because you're meant to look beyond those looks. The personality, the character, the family, other things about that man is much more important than the looks. Of course, I'm not against getting married to a handsome guy and all of that, but it should not be your priority. It should not be your focus in a partner. All things are secondary, but the primary thing should be that person's personality, his character, his mindset, and other things to consider in a man. But let his looks not be the main reason why you're settling with that man. If not, you will end up with a handsome, cute, bad husband. And when the chips are down in that marriage, you will no longer see that his cuteness, that his cute face. You will no longer see it. Because when those bad character begin to surface, that things that you can no longer tolerate begins to show itself in marriage, my dear, you won't even see that his handsome face anymore. So there are other things that should be your priority. So when a woman doesn't focus on the main things that should be her priority in a man, she will most likely end up with the wrong man. That is why you see a lot of good women getting married to bad men. Because when a woman begins to sound like all those ladies that used to say, my man must look like my Korean crush, all those things, my man must look like this, my man must look like that, all those things are good, but let it not be your main focus in finding a husband, in the man you want to spend the rest of your life with. If not, you end up regretting it. Thirdly, when a woman marries for money, she will most likely end up with the wrong man. As a woman, your focus should not be on the money. Of course, it's very good to marry a wealthy man, a rich man. Of course, money is very important. Money is used to maintain love, to maintain marriage. It is very, very important. Money is very much needed to sustain a marriage. But as a woman, it should not be your main focus. It is good to want to marry a rich man, but I'm talking about people that are so desperate to marry a rich man, like women that don't care about any other thing about a man except the money. Even if the man is an abuser, his money is her concern. Even if the man doesn't respect her, for the fact that the man has money, he's good to go. Even if the man doesn't treat her well, the man doesn't love herself at all, but just because that man has money, she will still be chucking her head into that relationship. That is the kind of people I'm talking about. When a woman has her full focus on a man's money, that is, the money is the only reason why she's with that man. She doesn't care about any other thing about that man's personality, his lifestyle, his family, his past, and all those things. She doesn't care about any other thing but his money. That is a very good reason why she will most likely end up with the wrong man. Because you should learn to look beyond some things. The money is important, yes, but there are things that are much more important. If the money is the main thing, then why are rich people getting divorced? Why is divorce much more among the rich? This is something you need to ask yourself. When you get close to some of them, you actually realize that indeed money is not everything. In fact, you hear it from some of them. You hear them say, my dear, leave that, money is not everything. That is when it is until it happens to you that you realize that money is indeed not everything. Money is important, yes, but it is not everything. Because when the chips are down in that marriage, before you know it, divorce comes in after some years. And that is when you now see women saying money is indeed not everything. That is when you now see some other women that will now be calling men scum. And you begin to ask such women, but your husband has money now, so what is the problem? There are other things that you need to also consider. Sometimes you need to look beyond some certain things. There are things that are much more important. So when you miss those things that are more important as a woman, you will most likely end up with the wrong person. Actions have consequences. So when you want to choose your partner, you have to know the primary things and the secondary things. Money is very important, but it is not the number one thing that you should look for in a partner. And finally, for today's episode, when women get married all because they want to please their family, such women will most likely end up with bad men. Yes, you're getting married all because you want to make mama and dada proud. It's good though, but that should not be your main reason why you're getting married. Just because you want to please your family. You end up settling for a man that is obviously bad. Like obviously bad to everybody. And especially to you. You know that that man is bad. But all because of what people will say. Or because of your parents keep pushing you. When are you getting married? When is he coming? When are you bringing the man? When? And all those pressures. You now decide to settle for a man that's obviously bad. My dear, that same family that keeps pressurizing you to settle for a man that after all nobody is perfect, when you die in that marriage, that same family will just cry and move on with their life. Life continues. If you die in that marriage, life will continue. Your family that is pressurizing you will move on. Highest will just cry, bury you and move on. My dear, do not marry for the wrong reason. Do not settle for a man that you know that is bad, all because you want to please other people, because of what people will say. I know that parents want to see their children get married, want to see their children settle down. That is the prayer of every parent out there. But you shouldn't allow them to pressure you into the wrong marriage. They do all those things with your best interest at heart. They want you to settle down, have a partner, and your own children, your own family. But you should learn to stand your ground when your life is at risk. You should not allow your parents, your family, to pressurize you into a marriage that you know that is bad. To settle for a man that you know that is bad. A man is an abuser. The man doesn't love you. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't value you in any way. But all because that man has money. Or just because that man is the only man that is mentioning marriage around you, that people are now pressurizing you to get married to that man, and you want to give in to such pressure. My dear, do not ever try it. Because it is when women make such decisions, when women marry to please their family, you see good women settling for bad men, all because they want to please their family. So do not ever try such as a woman, so you don't end up regretting it. Make mommy and daddy proud. Yes, it's important to do that, but most importantly, find your happiness. Marry for the right reasons. In summary, what I'm trying to say is that women should not marry for the wrong reason, because it is when a woman marries for the wrong reason, that is why you will see good women, that is when you will see good women settling for bad men. So my advice is, do not get married for the wrong reasons. There are so many people out there that no longer see marrying for love as something that is reasonable. But my dear, marrying for love is still important. Other things should also be considered, but that person's character, their personality, their kindness towards the way they treat you should also be part of the primary things. There are some things that should not be your focus in marriage, so that you don't end up having regrets in life. So that is all I have to say for today's episode. I wish you the best of luck as a woman in search of love and relationship and marriage. So that's all I have to say for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Thanks so much for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also like and comment on my videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next episode.